Today's topic is electron affinity. So, what is electron affinity or electron gain enthalpy? Suppose there is a atom, and in this atom it contains nucleus at the center of the atom. Now, into this atom, if you are adding electron is added, then energy is released from this atom. That energy is called as electron affinity. So, electron affinity, in a simple way, we can write the statement like this: the energy released when an electron is added to neutral isolated gaseous atom. So, to a gaseous atom, you are adding electron, the energy is released. So, that is electron affinity. Suppose if you are adding one electron, let us take some atom A, and into this I am adding one electron, then only this is electron affinity. Whenever you are adding electrons, we get negative charge, that is A minus. So, this is a anion. So, this is uni negative anion, and this is called as electron affinity 1. And remember, whenever electron is added, energy is released. So, electron affinity 1 is exothermic process. So, exothermic means heat is liberated. Now, if you are adding one more electron to this anion, now we get di-positive anion. So, that is we get A2 minus, and this is a di-negative anion, and this is called as electron affinity 2. Suppose if you add one more electron, then it becomes electron affinity 3. So, one electron is added, electron affinity 1. Second electron is added, electron affinity 2. Third electron added, electron affinity 3. But here, remember this point, it is very, very important. Electron affinity 2 is not an exothermic, but it is an endothermic process. So, this is a very, very important point you have to remember. So, electron affinity 1 is exo, but electron affinity 2 is endo. Not only 2, the remaining all the electron affinities, they will be endothermic only. So, why this is exo and why this is endo? Suppose let us take fluorine atom. So, this is a nucleus, and this is a first orbit, and this is a second orbit. So, let us take in the fluorine, the number of electrons are equal to 9. 9 electrons are present. So, in this 2 electrons are present in the s orbital, that is first orbit, and the remaining 7 electrons are present in the second orbit. So, these are all the electrons. 7 electrons, total 9 electrons. Now, into this we are adding one new electron. So, one electron is added into this. So, whenever an electron is added, this is a new electron which is being added. This is a new electron. So whenever electron is added, the energy is released. Now to this atom, we are adding one more electron, new electron. This is second electron. So when you are adding one more electron, what will happen means the electron which is added in the first step will repel the second electron. So whenever there is a repulsion means this electron is not easily added into this atom. But still if you want to add the electron, we have to supply energy. So in the first case what? The electron is easily accepted and energy is released. But when you are adding the second electron, this already present first this electron is repelling this upcoming new electron. So due to this what? We require some more energy. We have to apply some energy so that this electron is going into this atom. So that is why electron affinity 2 is always endothermic and electron affinity 1 is always exothermic. So this is the reason behind exothermic and endothermic. Next, this electron affinity also depends on three factors. In that, first factor is size, that is atomic size. So in the atomic size is inversely proportional to electron affinity. So if size is less, electron affinity is more. Size is more, electron affinity is less. So it is very simple. And second point, it also depends on nuclear charge. So nuclear charge is directly proportional to electron affinity. If nuclear charge is more, then nuclear attractions are more. If nuclear attractions are more, electron can be easily taken by the atom. So it is directly proportional to electron affinity. Now coming to the third point, it is very important. And for writing the order of electron affinity in a group and period, the required factors is, the first thing is size is very important, and second the next factor is the third factor, that is what we are writing now, that is half filled and fully filled configurations have less electron affinity. So if a configuration is half filled or completely filled, then they have less electron affinity. So now let us see what the electron affinity happens in group and period. In a group, from top to bottom, electron affinity decreases. And in a period, from left to right, electron affinity increases. But in the group, there are some exceptions. And we have to remember that exceptions. They are very important. So the first exception is if you take 7th A group elements. 7th A group elements means fluorine, then chlorine, bromine, and iodine. So these are 7th A group elements. And in these four elements, generally what from in a group top to bottom, the electron affinity decreases. So what is the expected order? So expected order is this. So but this is wrong. So fluorine will have more electron affinity than the chlorine. Actually, we have molecules like this: fluorine, chlorine, and bromine, and then iodine. But the observed is different. So what is the observed means? Chlorine will have more electron affinity then the fluorine, and then we have bromine, and then we have iodine. So this is a very, very important exception. And in the same way, if you take 6th group, 6th group elements are oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium. So in this also expected is the same thing, that is oxygen should have more electron affinity than sulfur, then selenium, and then tellurium. But the observed is again different. So what is the observed electron affinity means? Sulfur will have more electron affinity, then selenium, then tellurium, and then we get oxygen. And this observation, that is, this is also very, very important topic. So these are the two exceptions. And to know the reasons for this, we have to go for the chapter. So we have a separate chapter in the name of this 6th group, sorry, this is 7th group, which are called as halogens. And we have a separate chapter, this is 6th group. So at present, just remember that these two are exceptional groups where the ionization energy is expected, but the observed is different. So remember this. That's all. Next, after this, the ionization, electron affinity. The electron affinity is also having some exception in period. Why means half filled and fully filled configurations, they are having less electron affinity. So now let us see. Let us take one period. I am taking second period. So it is lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. Now this is a period. In a period from left to right, the electron affinity increases. So this is the expected order. Electron affinity is increasing. So this is expected. So in the exams, you should not write the expected. We have to write the observed. Now let us see what is the observed electron affinity. So the observed electron affinity is lithium will have more electron affinity than the beryllium, and beryllium, and then we have boron will be more than beryllium, and then we have carbon, and carbon electron affinity is more than nitrogen, then oxygen, then fluorine, and fluorine electron affinity is more than neon. These are all the electron affinity, and this same trend is repeated below this period also. For example, below lithium we have sodium. So sodium electron affinity is more than magnesium, and aluminum, silicon, and silicon electron affinity is more than phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine. Chlorine electron affinity is more than argon. So why this is happening? And again, the reason behind this is a configuration. So what is the configuration of beryllium? It is 1s2, 2s2, completely filled. So completely filled, more stable. So it is, if it is more stable, it is not ready to give electrons and not ready to take electrons. Electron affinity means taking of electrons. When it is not taking electrons means nothing but electron affinity is less. Now when coming to nitrogen, nitrogen configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. 2p3 means, so in the p orbital there are 5 degenerate p orbitals, sorry, 3 degenerate p orbitals, px, py, pz. So 3 electrons, 1, 2, 3. So 3 electrons are half filled. So again here half filled configurations also have less electron affinity. So that is why Nitrogen electron affinity is less than carbon and oxygen. The same thing in the neon also. Neon means the configuration is completely filled 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all the 6 electrons are completely filled. So this is also more stable. So its electron affinity is less than the fluorine. So this is all about electron affinity. So you have to remember these exceptions in 6th A group and 7th A group, and also remember the variation at half filled and completely filled in across all the periods. That's all. So this is electron affinity. Next, after electron affinity, the next topic is electronegativity. Electronegativity. Electronegativity is nothing but it is the tendency of an atom to attract bond pair of electrons towards its side. For example, some HF molecule is there, and in this HF molecule there is one single bond. Single bond means two electrons will be present. So sharing of electrons. But in this we see this bond which is formed by equal sharing of hydrogen and fluorine, one electron each. But what will happen after the formation of bond means the bond pair of electrons will be mostly present towards the fluorine. It is present towards the fluorine. So due to the electron density is more towards the fluorine will get a partial negative charge and hydrogen will get a partial positive charge. So here what is happening? This fluorine is attracting the bond pair of electrons towards its side. So this is called as electronegativity. So we can write the statement: the tendency of attracting bond pair of electrons towards itself is called electronegativity. And remember, the ionization energy will have units in the form of energy only, and electron affinity is also having units in the form of energy. It may be joules or calories or kilojoules, but electronegativity has no units. Electronegativity has no units. So remember this point. There is no units for electronegativity. But for the electron affinity and ionization energy and for the atomic radius, we have units. But negativity does not have any units. Remember this point. And remember, the electronegativity is of two types. One is called as Mulliken scale. So the electronegativity is calculated in two scales. One is Mulliken scale and the second one is called as Pauli scale. Scale. So Mulliken scale can be calculated by using some formulas based on the electron affinity and ionization energy given. So electronegativity is equal to ionization energy plus electron affinity by 2. So this is one formula. And we can also take electronegativity is equal to the same one, ionization energy plus electron affinity by 5.6. And here the values of this ionization energy and electron affinity is given in kilojoules. Kilojoules, but remember electronegativity does not have no units. Only these are the units of this ionization energy and electron affinity. Next, there are some more formulas. The same one, ionization energy plus electron affinity by 544, where this units of this is given as kilocalories. So in the question, if kilocalories is given for ionization energy and electron affinity, you have to use this formula. And one more is there, it is electronegativity is equal to ionization energy plus electron affinity by 129. Oh, sorry, this is in kilocalories, and this is in, sorry, this is electron volts. This is electron volts, and this is kilojoules, and this is kilocalories. So this is about Mulliken scale. And next, Mulliken electronegative values are about 2.8 times larger than Pauling scale. The Mulliken scale is 2.8 times more than Pauling scale. So you have to remember this point. So this is the first scale. Next, when coming to the second scale, that is Pauling scale, the Pauling scale depends on the bond energies. So it is depending on the bond energies, and the Pauling scale is given with the formula some element Xa minus Xb is equal to 0.208 under root delta. Now what is this delta? So delta is nothing but it is calculated by taking the help of bond energies. So here delta is equal to, suppose if two atoms are there, then we have to take their bond energies, that E bond energy of AB minus half into bond energy of A plus, sorry, into bond energy of BB. Just a minute, it is okay, not into, it is plus only, plus. So by this we can calculate delta, and you can substitute this delta here, and then here one is taken as difference. Mostly they give hydrogen as difference, and remember hydrogen electronegativity of hydrogen is 2.1. So it is generally taken as 2.1. So it is used as reference. So in this, A is taken as hydrogen and B is calculated. It may be fluorine or chlorine or bromine. And these are the bond energies. The question itself, he will give the bond energies. And next, this formula is taken when bond energies is given in kilocalories. Suppose if the bond energy is given in kilojoules, the formula will change. So it is Xa minus Xb is equal to 0.1017 delta. This is when the energy is given in kilojoules per mole. So these points are very important for calculating Mulliken scale and Pauling scale. And next, after calculating this Mulliken scale and Pauling scale, we can know how the electronegativity will vary in a group and period. So in this electronegativity, definition is important, and this uh, Mulliken scale is 2.8 times more than Pauling scale. That point is important. And next, the variation in group and period is important. So in a group, from top to bottom, electronegativity will decrease. So electronegativity decreases. And the reasons for this is it can be size or nuclear charge. And when coming to period, in a period from left to right, the electronegativity increases. Electronegativity increases. And remember, noble gases has no electron affinity. That is electronegativity. That is eighth A group. Eighth A group. Eighth A group elements means this helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. So they have no electronegativity. Electronegativity is not present. So if you take any period, that is, let us take lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. So this is the electron negativity value. So from left to right, electronegativity increases. And what I said, noble gases does not have electronegativity. So this is the order. This is in a period. When coming to the group, from top to bottom, electronegativity decreases. So this is about negativity. And here itself, we can also discuss electropositivity. So what is electropositivity? So again, electronegativity is tendency of attracting. Electropositivity is tendency of donating. So bond pair of electrons is donated to neighboring atom. That's all. So it is exact opposite of electronegativity. And in a group, the electropositivity increases, and in a period, electropositivity decreases. That's all. It is enough. Electropositivity. So this is tendency of donating bond pair of electrons to the neighboring atom. And this also depends on the nuclear charge, atomic radius. These are some factors affecting electropositivity. And next, remember some points. These are the highest, if the question is asked, highest electronegative element is asked in the complete periodic table, then the answer is fluorine. Fluorine is the highest electronegative element. And if the question is asked highest electropositive element, then the answer is cesium. And if question is asked as highest electron affinity element in the complete periodic table, then the answer is chlorine. So these are all the highest values of negativity, positivity, and electron affinity. So this is all about electronegativity, electropositivity, and we have discussed about electron affinity also. So that's all for the day. Thank you.